And finally, Michelle Tongyai has the question of the night. It's the last question, and it's the question of the night. Any regrets? Yes, Michelle, hundreds. But I can say this with real certainty. I really, given this a fair amount of thought, many regrets, many. And I cannot think of a single case where one of those regrets was over something that I did. I don't believe I regret anything that I did. I have enormous regrets over things I did not do. I think that's almost universally true for me, and I think that's probably true for most people. I look at opportunities I had. There have been times where I've been out on dates or back in the day, when I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I said, you dummy, that girl was like really into you. It's like, nah. Oh, no, she was. Really? Yeah. Why didn't you do something about that? Because you're a chicken, that's why. And I'll tell you something. One thing I learned from that was I learned probably in my 30s, after reviewing all of the regrets that I had for the actions I didn't take, that while I always regretted not taking a shot, I never regretted taking the shot. And even if you took a shot, you never got your face slapped, and people, and no one ever went screaming out into the night. That taking a shot always was the best play. Even if it didn't work, it was better than not. You could live with yourself. And I know it's a hard thing to say. Look, ladies, I'm not like I'm Bill Clinton. There's no like attempted rape stories here. I know the difference between yes and no, and I know when people are in the mood to be asked the question. But every time I acted, I was very pleased with the result. It usually went well, and when it didn't, I was pleased with the result. When I didn't act, I regretted it badly, and it's always inaction, and that's obviously just the cheesy personal dating side. On the professional side, I learned pretty early, leap, and the net will appear. That I learned pretty quick when I left my regular paying job to work at PJTV. That was leap, and then it will appear. Going to Declaration Entertainment was leap, and then it will appear. Starting BillWhittle.com was leap, and the net will appear. It's 1,000 times more complex than I thought it would be. Infinitely harder than I thought it would be. And absolutely far more rewarding than I thought it would be to run your own business. And as many of you know, we had a lot of teething problems. And once I realized the extent of them and took responsibility and control for them, and of course once After Girl Desiree Gabrielle came along too, to help me, we tried to put out those fires, made a major effort to put them out and keep people happy. And now it is unbelievably rewarding. And in another week or two, you're going to see the results of this. And I'm working really hard and spending a lot of time, and I love it. I just love it. I just love it. I can't argue with any of it. So if I had a final thing I would say to my 18-year-old self, I would say, son, you are about to go through a quarter century of hell. And it's going to be rough. And the good news is, apparently you're strong enough to take it. And the better news is, when you get through on the other side of this thing, you're going to be damn near, I don't want to say invincible, but untouchable. You will have a kind of mental toughness that will suit you very well, because you're going to go out and do difficult things, and you're going to attract a lot of love, and you're going to attract a lot of hate, and you're going to need the mental toughness to be able to deal with this. You're going to have the courage to go out there, some small physical courage, but mostly moral courage. You're going to have the moral courage to go out into the world and say what you think is true, and know that there's going to be big consequences because large numbers of people don't want you to say what you think is true. So you go through this. If I could have made a deal with myself, I would have said, here's the deal. 25 years of hell, 25 years of loneliness and frustration and anonymity and a lot of self-directed anger and just hardship and just stress. Stress. You won't be able to pay your bills, and you'll worry about the rent for 25 years, and you're just gonna watch other people do well, and you're gonna just get deeper in the weeds, and you're gonna have this onrushing dread for 25 years. That's the part that happens. If you decide to get through it, on the other end, you will be mentally very tough. You'll be well versed in. You'll have soaked up enough experience and enough information to have a remarkable grasp of issues, I would say, only because of the pain you're about to go through. Because you'll be in so much pain for so long, you will not ever forget other people who are in pain and need, and you won't forget that that when you talk about things like people who are dependent or addicted, they won't just be examples. They'll be real people who have real problems and who need to fix those problems and who are responsible for fixing those problems. But they'll be actual people, and it won't be easy, and you'll know this because you'll be one of them. And I think finally I would say, if you can get to the other end of that 25-year period, you will. If you can get to the end of the 25-year period, you will have the emotional resilience and courage, and I would say generosity, emotional generosity. That's probably a good word. To really, really be there. I mean, you'll have the emotional generosity to be able to share things like I'm sharing now, because you'll realize that talking about things like this, while certainly not pleasant, are valuable to other people. And the other people who this may be valuable to are the people who make your incredible life possible. That'll be the deal. You'll owe them. The people are going to pay you. They're going to pay you to hear what you have to say. And so in return for that, you're going to have an obligation to speak the truth. You're going to have an obligation to be open about things that drove you, because some people will be helped by this. You owe them. There you go. For example, I just look over into the comment section here, and there's somebody named Mama Huevo who I've never seen before, and there's just an endless series of go F yourself, only it's not F. It's go F yourself, go F yourself, go F yourself, go F yourself, go F yourself. Well, Mama Huevo, guess what? You're too late. I've been doing it for 25 years, and I don't need your advice on how to go F myself. I've F'd myself for 25 years. I'm pretty much past that point. I'm glad you're watching, though. Because people are saying get out of here. I don't want her to get out of here or him to get out of here. It's actually really great. This is a perfect way to end this particular show, to have somebody come in here and start screaming like that, because what it means is one of two things. I suspect I know what it means. I've said something that has hit this person in a way, here it is again, hit them in a way that's challenged things that they believe in. It's challenged their worldview, it's challenged them, and it's filled them with a burning rage and hatred. And the beautiful thing about my life is I don't have to have a burning rage and hatred towards people I disagree with. I'm not consumed by it. I disagree with them for reasons that are obvious and external. I don't have a burning rage and hatred for a person that comes into a room full of complete strangers and starts screaming at somebody they've never met, telling them to go F themselves. I genuinely feel sorry for them. I do. I think it's got to be a terrible thing to live in a world where you are so consumed by rage and hate that the existence of somebody who disagrees with you causes you such psychological trauma that you have to lash out at it. It's kind of remarkable, really, if you think about it. I mean, I disagree with progressives, and I think they have terribly destructive policies, and it bothers me enormously. And so I speak my mind, and I talk about what I think is right. But I don't go to progressive websites, and I don't go to progressive speakers and tell them to go F themselves, because it doesn't matter to me what they think. They're entitled to think whatever they want to. Their having a different opinion about something doesn't affect me because I don't care. I don't care what Mama Huevo thinks of me. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I do care what I think about me, and I do care what a very, very small number of people think about me. But what that person thinks about me, I don't care at all. And I'll go one step further about this. When I started doing this, my girlfriend at the time said, do you have to be so opinionated? Because you get 99 great comments and then one hate comment. And she was worried about me. She was worried about my safety. And I said, you know, if I read an essay about how delicious apple pie is, within 5 minutes, the cherry pie people are going to call me a Nazi. So you can't have an opinion in the age of instant feedback where millions of people are exposed to your ideas. You cannot have an opinion where people are not going to disagree. And I guess if you're a cherry pie manufacturer, you might get to the point where you have to say, F you, you apple pie loving son of a bitch. I don't want to live that way, and I don't live that way. I don't live that way. So in closing, I will say, I try not to look at the YouTube comments because there's some real dense people out there, but I do occasionally. I love the Stratosphere Lounge because these are people who I agree with, who've been so supportive and kind to me. But let me just tell you this about this: when I go to the YouTube channel, and I see people saying, "F you, Bill," because what you say about the Russians, about the murderers in the Lubyanka and the murderers in the NKVD and all of these people, when I hear people get to that same level of rage and hatred, I realize I don't want to be liked by those people. I don't want to be liked by Russian murderers. I don't want to be liked by jihadis. I don't want to be liked by people who are champions of this ongoing slavery and murder of socialism. I don't want to be liked by them. If people like Mama Huevo like me, I'm doing something wrong. I'm really doing something wrong if somebody that ignorant and that hate-filled and that aggressive and that sad, if somebody like that has a problem with me, that's good. And if they don't, if they are, he's a swell guy, I'm doing something wrong. And the reason I say this is because I don't go to Bill Maher's website, and I don't go to Michael Moore's website and heckle him, because I don't care what Michael Moore thinks. It's not my job to shut Michael Moore up. It's my job to make a better argument than Michael Moore and let people make their own decisions. So this kind of thing, it would have bothered me. It probably would have bothered me just 4, 5, 6 years ago. Doesn't bother me now. One thing that somebody said to me once, and this really, really rang my bell. It's an old saw, it's an old aphorism, but doesn't make it any less true. Somebody said to me once, Billy, if you're getting flack, it's because you're over the target. And I thought, man alive, a guy who's an Air Force guy can understand that. That's exactly right. If I'm getting flack, it means I'm over the target. If somebody comes in here and starts saying F you this, F you that, then I said something that so profoundly challenged their worldview that it's causing them heart palpitations. In my more petty moments, when I see somebody like this who's so completely aggro and wound up, I do kind of want to send them an industrial, what do they call those platters? Those, a pallet. I want to send them a pallet of bacon and donuts and another pallet of Red Bulls and see if I can't get that heart to go just a couple beats faster and, kind of fun to watch. But I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. And I suspect if I knew them, there they are again. I suspect if I'd met Mama Huevo, the more I got to know that person, the happier I would be that they hate my guts. In fact, of that I am crystal sure. Of that I'm 100% sure. The more I get to know somebody who walks into a room full of strangers, and rather than saying, here's why I think you're wrong, just starts screaming, F you, F you, you, F you, F you, F you, F you, all of you. I kind of want to be hated. I actually do want to be hated by somebody like that. Really. I do. Because if I'm liked by somebody like that, I'm probably doing something wrong. Anyway, Mama Huevos, I'm so sorry to disappoint you. I know you put a lot of energy and a lot of thought into the go F yourselves, and I'm sure it's the best you can do. But good luck to you. And I hope, by the way, Mama Huevo is calling me scrub. I'm going to assume that scrub is some kind of horrific insult in Argentinian or Portuguese or maybe in Mandarin or maybe scrub is like a mispronunciation of some obscure kind of, I don't know, Iraqi word or something. But to me, calling me scrub is the same as calling me scissors. Okay. Why don't you just, maybe you could send me a memo, Mama Huevo. You could send me a Mama Huevo memo, a Mama Huevo memo about what scrub means to you, and then you get a chance to explain to me why it's the mortal insult that I'm sure you think it is. Scrub to me implies cleanliness, although I'm sure it doesn't imply that to you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little bit over time here. I have to boogie on out. Really great show. Enormously enjoyed it. And I think every time I pop the questions out to the hive mind, we get better shows and better answers. So I'm going to look at some of the other suggestions. We'll do some of those as theme shows. I like the theme shows. They're kind of fun. Keeps me a little more on the rails than I usually am. But with that said, it's 90 minutes of fun and excitement here in the slightly disassembled but rapidly finishing Stratosphere Lounge, which would be lit and furniturized in the not-too-distant future. Progress is being made. Anyway, thanks all of you for joining us. Mama Huevo, thank you especially. I couldn't have closed the show better myself. Seriously. There's no better way. As a matter of fact, I'll go even further. Mama Huevo, there is simply no better way for me to have closed the show on information I would have given my 18-year-old self than to say, number one, when you're right about something, people who are wrong are going to get upset. Number two, if you're taking flack, it means you're over the target. Number three, if you say you like apple pie, the cherry pie people are going to call you a Nazi. And number four, when people are really, really angry about something you say, you have caused them to think about things they had never thought about before. Who knows? After 300 or 400 years of intense study, they may get to a point where they can express an opinion with facts and data. Hope springs eternal, ladies and gentlemen, on our side of the fence anyway. Mama Huevo, whoever you are, have a good evening. You really don't need to be this angry. I'm really not a threat to you or your worldview at all. Am I? As for the rest of you, thank you very much for giving me this life. It's been amazing, as always. And we'll see you next time. We'll be here. That was number 78. And 79 is going to get even better. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.